Hello and welcome to my Module 3 reflection video. In this module, we talked about research methods and different research methods used to answer different research questions. We looked at different research articles and identified different research methods that were used. So 5 takeaways from this module are: number 1, there are so many different research methods out there. I could have read 10 different articles and they could have all used a completely different research method. There's so many different ways to carry out your research, and I learned the vast, there's a ton of stuff out there of ways to research a specific research question. Number 2, it is important to choose a method that's appropriate for your specific research question. It's super important to find one that's appropriate for your research question, so that your results are accurate and your results are what you intended them to be. Number 3, surveys can be a huge help to assist in a research design. You can use surveys to answer so many different research questions, so I felt like that was a huge one. Different types of surveys, different methods of surveying. I just found there was a lot of information on surveying in research designs. Number 4, the more information you get, the better. The more different little strategies and things that you use in your research design to help answer your research question can help. You can use more than one design and then compare the data. I just think the more information, the better. You can't have too much. You can only have too little. And number 5, it's overwhelming. Just the different types of research, figuring out which is best. It's so time-consuming, tedious. So I did take that away from this module, just not only in the activities, but in just researching out there how much the different research designs, the information there is. It's just super overwhelming. And then the second part of this video was the special education and remote learning YouTube video that we were assigned to watch. I just want to give you my input on that before I go into the questions. I feel like I am living that video right now. As a special education teacher in a middle school classroom, I have a huge just realm of students with disabilities. Some students I have seen with, most of them have an SLD, thrived in the virtual setting where, they were at home, they had their own little office, their own little classroom. They were able to take it step by step at their own pace in their own comfort zone and have really excelled in the virtual setting. I mean, their grades have gone up. They've gotten little support from myself or from the regular teachers. They've just kind of been able to take school, put it in their comfort zone, and have really done well at it. Then there's those that are like, they're doing all right. They could do better, but they could do worse. So we're going to be happy with where they're at right now. So their grades are all right. They're not, they're not doing super well, but they're not struggling. So we're going to let them be. But then there's those students who are really, really struggling. The students with ASD, the students with multiple disabilities, the students with attention deficit. There's just a few of those students who setting them in front of a computer is not doing anything for them. Like the students that were in the video, the ones with ASD and then the little deaf boy, that they struggled. Setting him in front of a computer and telling him to learn is doing absolutely nothing. And I have seen that. And I've had parents that have been fighting that. They work full-time jobs. Their jobs didn't stop because of the pandemic. So they're not able to, sit there and give their student with autism the support and the attention and the repetition that they need to be successful. So they've lost a lot of progress that was made before the shutdown. Then they have fought to get their student into the classroom. They need to be there. Putting online is not doing anything for them. I totally understand that. But with the guidelines and the health restrictions that we've had, as you can see, I am in my classroom right now. So we have been able to come in a 5-to-1 ratio and been able to be a one-on-one with that student. But it's only for a limited amount of time. It's not all day long, every day like they need. So I see the huge struggle that those parents are going through in a teacher position. I also see it on the parent position, as I do have a nephew with ASD he's only in pre-K, so it's a little bit different than those that are in middle school. But I do see, as a parent or as an aunt of a student with autism, the amount of time, effort, and attention that those students need at home in the virtual setting that a lot of them aren't getting. My nephew's dad works full-time, so he's with his grandparents or he's with myself when I don't have to be on campus. And they just need that one-on-one attention that they just can't get from home. They need to be in the classroom. That's my personal opinion. So what is the impact of the pandemic on SPED students? Zoom is hard for SPED students. You know, those students with sensory issues, those students who need to hear your voice inflections, who need to be in the classroom. You know, monotone on a Zoom isn't doing anything for them. They're not receiving their services. I know my team I've been blessed with an awesome team who has been putting the students and their job, just trying to get all the services that they can virtually that they can. My speech therapist has been fantastic and has been doing all of his therapies 100%, whether it be virtual, coming in the classroom once a day with myself. He has been getting those done and making sure that those students are not being held back from another thing. It's too much for the parents. They are in a parental role. They shouldn't have to be the parent and the teacher when their student is in school. So it's a lot for the parents. They don't like to be, you know, the teacher and the parent because it just doesn't work that way. Once again, loss of therapies. A lot of students are losing their therapies. I know I have been blessed and in a situation where my therapists have stepped up and made sure that those students are getting their therapies, but not all students. I'm in a small school district, so it's a lot easier for them. In those big school districts, you know, it might not be as easy to get those Zoom sessions in as it is here. Some of them don't have access to the tools at home like they do here. I know I have sent home so many sensory tools. I have sent home calculators. I have sent home whiteboards. I have sent home markers. I've sent home so many different things to make sure that my students have the access that they need at home, that they do in the classroom. I know in bigger school districts, once again, it's not feasible to do that, but here it has been, so I've been super blessed in that situation too. So why is it important to conduct research in this area? I think it is so important to conduct research in this area because we want to be better prepared if something similar to this happens again. Make sure the research is out there. Teachers have access to research. Teachers have access to different trainings. Teachers have access to implement virtual school better for students with disabilities than us that were just thrown. One day we're in school, the next day we're not. And then kind of the unknown of if we're going back, are we going hybrid, are we not, you know, in and out. I think research needs to be done so that we have a baseline and we're prepared in case something happens again. I hope it doesn't happen again, but if it happens too, we didn't think it would happen this time. If it does, we need to be better prepared for next time. How can research in this area impact the field of special education? Once again, prepare us for the future in case anything like this happens again. Can improve virtual learning for special education students. So if something happens and there's a student with special needs who's high risk and is choosing not to come back to school, going to stay on a virtual platform, we can improve our education for those students. It can provide multiple methods for services and therapies. So if something happens in the future and a student needs to be out for a long period of time, we can now have research and have experience behind us on how to virtually do therapies and virtually do instruction. So it's always an option here on out with IEP meetings. I think that's going to be huge. Now that we are experts at doing virtual IEP meetings, if a parent is unable to come in person to an IEP meeting, we can easily use the virtual platform to do those IEP meetings. And it can improve delivery instruction. We can improve the delivery of virtual instruction, can improve our delivery of instruction in the classroom by doing research on this topic. What impact do I believe my proposed research study will have in the field of special education? So my research question is improving virtual learning for students with disabilities. So it just comes along the lines of what that video talked about. It will have a huge impact on special education. It's similar to what the video said. We will be more prepared for future shutdowns if the case may be. We will be more versatile in our teaching strategies and our teaching methods and our teaching delivery systems. It will help us teachers be more flexible. I mean, heck, we've had to be so flexible this school year. So doing research on what this shutdown has really done will help. And more productive. So if something happens in the future, we will be more productive. We will not have those 2-week lag periods where we're trying to figure out what the heck we're doing. We will be just more productive in the classroom. If I was able to conduct my proposed research study, what impact do I believe it will have on learners with exceptionalities and their families? Oh, I'm in my classroom and the lights turned off. I think it'll have a huge impact on learners with exceptionalities and their families because we will have done this already. We will know what doesn't work and what does work. We will have the research behind us to prove what does work and what doesn't work. We will have research to prove how to help those students excel academically and emotionally in the classroom or on a virtual setting. I just think it would have a huge impact on students with disabilities, their families, the teachers, just to have that research out there, that background. We can go back and say, okay, this is what was done when it happened before. This is what we're going to do this time to make it better. So doing research on my topic will really help me in the future and could help, teachers years to come. If this happens 10 years down the line, brand new teachers come in, they haven't experienced it. We can show them, give them research about what was done in the future. We hope this doesn't happen, but you never know. We didn't think it would happen this time. So there's my Module 3 reflection. Feel free to ask me any questions you might have, and have a wonderful day.